Proverbs 13:5. The righteous hate lying. And I want to stop right there. Maybe that's why I feel the way I do about deception, the illusion, and all the other subtle tactics of the serpent that's running rampant throughout today's time. Maybe that's why I want to bring down Babylon, that state of confusion that people have, and I want to expose the root cause of it all. Maybe that's why I want to expose the pastors, the ministers, the preachers, so on and so forth. A lot of people tell me that I mess up the mood when I go out. They like to tell me I take the fun out of things, but that's because I know the origin of most of the things they consider fun. And I know those things really aren't fun when you take away the illusion of fun that those things have been given. Now, people don't like how I don't let the Muslims worship in peace. People have a problem with me having a problem with the subtle deception of Christianity that has fooled many down throughout the centuries. But most of all, people don't like how I expose the Jews for what they really are. So now I'm anti-Semitic. But a quick question, how can I be anti-Semitic if I am Semitic myself? Ephesians 5:11 states, have nothing to do with the fruitless works of darkness, but rather reproof them. So once you know better, with all intents and purposes, you're supposed to do better. So that's what I strive to do. And maybe that's why I like to expose things the way I do. So I don't necessarily look for people to lecture. Alright, so right now is Ramadan. This is the holy month for the Muslim. This is where they take a whole month to fast for the pre-Islamic Arabic moon deity. They like to equate Allah to the mighty Elohim of Israel. And it's amazing to me how after reading Psalms 147:19 that people can still contend that Muhammad is Elohim's prophet, when clearly he tells you he doesn't deal with no other nation. So how did this Arab man get into the mix, and why would the Father choose him to bring the last testament or last written work to complete his already prophetic document, especially after his son and the sacrifice that was laid down for us? So if you choose to believe that Muhammad is the Most High's prophet, then you are wise in your own eyes. And according to scripture, even the fool has more hope than you. Now, when it comes to the Jews, I'm still trying to figure out how a tribe can become its own religion. The sooner people understand that Judaism is but one out of 12 tribes descended from Israel, Jacob, Yaqub, who are collectively known as Hebrews, the sooner we can all realize the deception, the subtle deception that's rampant, that shows its head from Genesis to Revelation. And what gets me is we got the Jews who claim they're atheists, but yet still lay claim to Israel. Well, how can you do that when you reject the very book that validates you laying claim to that piece of land? But you still think that's what you're entitled to, and you an atheist Jew? That don't make no sense. Then to top it all off, the people that we have been led to believe are Jews aren't even really Jews for real. And I don't know how many books, articles, and how much DNA evidence and proof it's going to take for people to get that through their mind. They will even tell you, some of them will even tell you that they're not the real Jews. And the fact that Israel has the second highest skin cancer rate should definitely tell you something, that they are not the indigenous people of that region, because if they were, then they would be an extinct people by now. Then also you got to take into consideration the abominations that's going on in that land. Alright, Israel is the gay capital of the Middle East. But somehow you still think that these are the Father's chosen people? Really? Now as for Christians, I done dealt with Bloods, Crips, Muslim, Jews, alright, vice lords, GDs, gang members, hardened criminals, but I have not ran across a group more hard-headed than Christians. Christians can't seem to understand that 1 + 1 = 2 and never 11. If only I can get them to understand that Jesus was the slave ship that the Negroes were brought over here to this country on. If only I can get them to understand that the letter J is nothing but 500 years old. If only I can get them to understand that in the year 321, Constantine sent an edict throughout the Roman Empire stating, let the city people and the magistrates rest on the venerable day of the sun, which started the first Sunday law, and anybody keeping the true Sabbath was either excommunicated or put to death. If only I can get these Christians out here to understand this, but I can't. Because the universal blindness that is happening to the people was also prophesied. Scripture teaches us that the God of this world has blinded the minds of many. And we all know who the God of this world is. Hashatan, Lucifer. Then you got the people who love to say, well, I'm spiritual. Well, according to Romans 7:14, the law is spiritual. Then you got people who love to say, we truthers, we looking for truth. We on the search for truth, soul searching. We just want to find truth. Well, according to Psalms 119, 142, the law is the truth. So what you gonna do? You have no excuse. Though I know it's not possible. If I had the chemical formula to concoct a cure for the universal blindness that runs rampant in the world, I would. I would definitely make that move. And I will pour in the water supply so that it can get into people everywhere. But I know that's not going to happen. I know that's not possible. My name not important.